there everyone, my name is Amy, this is The Opinionated Woman, and welcome back to Crafty Reads, my series where I craft and I tell you about the last 5 books that I've read. As with the last 2, we're still working on the same piece at the moment. I'm building up the background, so I'm going to be building a little bit of the Copic marker onto here, and cut out some more teardrops that I'm going to collage onto here at some point. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today. Let's get into the books. So the first book that I read was On Gold Mountain by Lisa C. This is a non-fiction about the author's great-great-grandfather who left China and immigrated in the 1800s and immigrated to America. And because this is on the West Coast, I had to work that one out. Because this is on the West Coast, it's not the immigration that we're used to seeing, or like from the outside, like from a South African perspective. Like I didn't know much about the Chinese immigration into America, and it was super interesting. Like he settles in San Diego and then he moves into LA, and it shows how the family built a business, basically like an empire of antique stores and stuff throughout Chinatown in different locations. And it just follows through generations of the family from him arriving in the US until Lisa is like about a teenager. And it's super freaking interesting. I had no idea about some of the laws that were in place and the way people were treated, because he married a white woman, which was it wasn't even legal. I don't think they got properly legally married as far as I can remember. A lot of people used to pop over to Mexico and then get married because white people and Asians were not allowed to get married, which is fucked up. But it was super, super interesting. And there's something to be said about authors who write fiction and then write non-fiction, because the non-fiction writing becomes a little bit more lyrical if you've got the right writer, and I really, really enjoy that, like a lot. So I think she did a super good job on it, and it taught me a lot. Then at this point of the month, my cat had died, so like I was really not up to something that was going to engage my brain too dramatically. So I started reading A Fur Love Story by Lonely, and this is so damn cute. I described it in my blog of like Emma Lord's Tweet Cute, but like with a bit more flavor, because it's not two white people talking about burgers. It basically follows our 2 main characters, Bao and Lin, and their families are rivals from like back when they were in Vietnam, and they both have Vietnamese restaurants that are opposite each other in Little Saigon. And they're teenagers, Bao and Lai are teenagers, Bao and Lin are teenagers, so one of their surnames is Lai. And they sort of come into contact with each other at school after their parents always telling them, like, you're not allowed to have anything to do with that family. And of course, as these books go, they start to fall in love. And it was really well written, so like the romance was really cute, but at the same time we got both families like backstories. And Lynn is an artist, so we very much got like her in her art, trying to find herself, trying to figure out what she's doing when she leaves school, how to figure out how to tell her family that this is what she loves, because they don't really consider art to be a legitimate career. And then Bao is also just discovering something that he's passionate about. So we get a look into that too, which I think gives the characters so much more depth. It makes you really root for them. So like the romance is not the be all and end all of the story. Like we've got character development, their family is super important to them, and that whole dynamic. And it's just really beautifully written. It was just so well done, and it was fun. And it took me through a dark time. So yeah, I can appreciate it a lot. And it was a straight romance, and I even thought that it was good. So that's saying something. Not that I can't enjoy straight romances, but I have a huge bias for queer romances, obviously. Do you see my new tattoo? It says her name. Yeah, I would be curious to pick up another one from her if a lot of her stories sort of draw from her heritage, because I thought that was really interesting. Then I picked up The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osmond. This one has got a lot of buzz. Everyone's been talking about it. My mom's read it, my friends read it, her mom's read it. Like, I borrowed this from my stepmother. It's been doing the rounds because Richard Osmond, the writer, is a comedian. That's quite well known. So I picked that one up, and it's a really cute, cozy mystery. Basically, we're in a retirement village, and there's this group called the Thursday Murder Club with these 4 old biddies, 2 women and 2 men, who are solving mysteries. And in this book, someone new has just come into it, because this is the first book in a series. Someone new's just joined the club because one of the older members is now in a coma, and she's in like a proper like nursing home side of the retirement village. So she's come in new, and there's been 2 murders that they are getting their teeth into, and it's a good old romp. I feel bad because I know so many people who absolutely fucking loved this book, and I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I just felt that it feels like a first book. Like, there were some things that maybe, it also felt like a first in a series, so maybe, because he delved into some back details of a few characters, but almost too many for me. I wish he'd just picked a few of those, because like it's almost like too much of a little taste. You want a little bit more, and maybe as the series goes on you'll get a little bit more of that. That's what I'm hoping, at least, because the characters were cool. It was really funny. It was like very British and dry. You know, you could see this being a British TV show, you know, like that kind of thing. So yeah, I'd be interested to pick up the next one for sure. Then, quite recently, I read The Silver Star by Jeanette Walls. This is a historical fiction. It's set in the 1970s, and it's following 2 sisters, Bean and Liz. Yes, Bean and Liz. Who basically, the mother is very flighty. She leaves them alone for like long periods of time. She like stocks up the freezer with chicken pot pies and like just leaves them there. And she's left them for a particularly long time this time, so the kids sort of have to run away from, because the cops are like knocking on their door, being like, why are these kids not at school? Why is no one looking after them? Well, the kids are at school, they're just not getting looked after. So they go live with their uncle in this mansion in Virginia, and it's so atmospheric, and we get to know the characters in the town, and Bean gets to know a little bit more about her father, because neither of the kids knew their fathers. And Bean is such a good character to read from as the main character. I really struggle a lot of the time when it comes to kids being narrators, because it can sometimes obviously come across a bit childish, and that's hard to read sometimes. But this is written so well. Bean is such a strong character. She's about 12, 13 throughout this book. And they start to learn things about themselves. They start to find passions in things they never thought they would before. Emus appear. There's emus at one point. It's really, really fucking beautifully written, and like I don't know how to describe it. It's really not super duper plot heavy, but there's a bit at the end that I was like, what just happened? Holy shit. And it was such a bomb way to sort of like have a climax of the book and then, you know, tie everything up from there. I thought it was so beautifully done, and I definitely want to pick up more from this author. And then the last one that I picked up is quite a hard one to talk about, because it is also another non-fiction. I have been reading a lot more non-fictions at the moment, which is quite cool. Is this my second of the year? Yeah, second of the year. So this is called Polysecure by Jessica Fern. I have just come out of my first polyamorous relationship, and I very much want some guidance to try and see like how I want to go about living my romantic life from now on. So I was looking for a little bit of guidance outside of the person that I was previously, you know, giving me all of this information, who I was in a relationship with. So Polysecure is a book about different types of polyamory and the relation that polyamory, or as she calls it, consensual non-monogamy, which is when every party involved knows what's cracking, everybody knows where they stand, like, you know, everyone's consenting. And that being linked to what our attachment styles are and how we can navigate that in a way, and like exercises that we can do in order to make you polysecure within your different relationships. And it's very useful. I think it would have been very cool to have this as a hard copy, because there were a lot of like tables and graphs and stuff that were very interesting, even just in like personal growth kind of way, because like polyamory has got a lot to do with personal growth. Like you can't, if you're not growing as a human being while you're practicing consensual non-monogamy, like you're doing it wrong. And there's a lot of resources that she's got in there. So I think the physical copy is on Scribd, so I can go back and look at those tables. But yeah, if you're into that kind of thing and you are looking to gain a little bit more insight into polyamory and some of the theory around polyamory, I would definitely recommend it. And with that, we've read another 5 books, and I've done some blue, some more blue, and I have cut out a bunch of these little droplets, which I will start putting on next time, and then we will see where the inspiration takes me. But I really hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed shooting it, besides my back pain from sitting in this position. I really need to figure out a better place to film this kind of thing, but my apartment's small, so whatever. Anyway, if you did like it, please give me a like and maybe a subscribe, and tickle on the bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time.